We're at the SIAM Convention 2025, and at the sidelines, I have with me Vikram Gulati, Executive Vice President and Country Head for Toyotas, heading the corporate affairs. Vikram, thanks for joining us. So, just today is all about the industry. We've heard a lot of, let's say, speeches, presentations on how the industry is faring, but just to give us a snapshot, first 6 months, and obviously we are getting into the festive season, and of course how that's been, and the big news of course is GST, which is a real booster shot I think the industry has got, and a cause for celebration.
Absolutely. This year's seen it's been mixed for different segments, and the segment that we represent, which is the MPV and SUV, it's been good growth so far. But going forward, yes, you're right. This GST reform that's happened, it's really a big one. Not only in terms of decreasing the incidence of taxation on automobiles, but I think it'll have a deeper structural positive impact, primarily because it's simplified the system. It's put a lot of money in the hands of the middle class. There is bound to be increase in consumption, consumer confidence, and therefore the multiplier impact is going to be pretty good, which is also good for the automotive industry and demand. And I think more importantly, it will be a good driver for growth, probably taking the growth projections slightly higher than what they would have been initially thought of in the beginning of the year.
Right. And Gulati-san, there was some expectation or some talk that there would be hybrids might be clubbed with the lower GST, which is 18%. That's not happened. Obviously, Toyota has been a big champion of hybrids. Are you disappointed? I mean, obviously, you've been pushing for some differential between the regular ICE and hybrids, which is not yet there for obvious reasons. So, just your thoughts on this.
So, I think you have to see this reform for what it is. It's a reform with stated objectives. Those stated objectives are to simplify. Therefore, the number of slabs go down. It's to put more money in the hands of the consumer, therefore reduce the incidence of taxation, address anomalous situations that were there, and I think there is nothing beyond that. Now, if you look at the outcome of the GST, if you were to look at it from a signaling from a technology point of view, the biggest gainer happens to be small diesel. Now, that's a mixed signal, isn't it, if you were to read it as a technology signal?
Right.
One of the biggest gainer in terms of small diesel is 13%, right? The biggest gainer in terms of percentages. In terms of rupees, the biggest gainer would be the very high-end luxury vehicles.
Right.
So I don't think one should read too much into the reform that's happened to extrapolate it to any signaling on technology. Just to complete my thought, what I believe is you've had now basically two slabs, 5 and 18, with one special slab. It gives you a degree of inflexibility how to adjust a sector which had probably 10 slabs because of cess. And cess also no longer exists.
Right.
So structurally, there is some degree of inflexibility to accommodate everything. Also,
and this has thrown up some anomalies, like diesels being.
It's not an anomaly. Like I said, it never was meant to address sectoral requirements of differentiated taxation.
Right.
Going to the level of 10 slabs.
Right.
How can you fit 10 slabs into 2 slabs now?
Yeah.
So I think it has to be seen for what it is, and it is purely simplification, rationalization of the tax structure to reduce friction in the system. And I think these issues of merit on technologies will get addressed by other mechanisms. They are bound to, because the stated objective in no uncertain terms for the country by the senior leadership is reduce fossil fuel imports, reduce carbon, increase local manufacturing, go to support biofuel program. So all of these things I don't think should be read as directional given what's happened in the reform.
No, that's a very politically correct answer, Vikram. But to be honest, are you saying you're fine with no benefit to hybrid right now? You're okay with that?
No, I'm addressing a question saying that the tax structure change is a signal.
Right.
It's not a signal. And I think I've adequately proved that
Right,
by
right.
giving you so many examples. But what I'm also saying is, going further, green technologies have to be supported for consumer adoption. There is no
Right.
two ways adopted
Right.
for it, primarily because national objectives have to be met.
Right.
And those national objectives are very clear.
Lower carbon,
Energy
yeah,
self-reliance,
yeah, right.
reduction of fossil fuel import, decarbonization, enhancing local value add, improving agrarian economy through the ethanol blending program.
Right.
All of this is a clear further step. How government addresses this is something that government, I'm sure, will look at, because the first part of my answer just addresses the problem. Is it a signal? No, it's
Right.
not.
And you talked about, let's talk to the ethanol blending program. Obviously,
Yeah.
there's been a bit of controversy around it. I think customers feel they were totally blindsided, not been informed. Do you think it could have been done better in the sense that, at least bringing consumers into confidence, and maybe even which has been happened globally, there's always a reduction in price when ethanol content goes up. We've seen that in all markets, except it's not happened here. Now, the response to that from the government is that ethanol production itself is expensive and the barrel of crude has come down. So, just wanted your thoughts on this. I mean, no question of the direction. We also know the issues of fuel economy and all that, which is there. But just the way this was done, I'm just saying the consumer seems to be feeling the maximum pain.
So first, let's get facts in place. The EBP came around 2018, clear direction roadmap. Around 2021, the government asked the leading testing and homologation agency, ARAI, to see what would happen to legacy vehicles. This is a big concern. So ARI picked up vehicles from all automobile manufacturers with different legacies, for example, older vehicles. Very good representation statistically, and they tested them. They ran them for 100,000 kilometers in the lab. And post their testing, the results were kind of shared with stakeholders. And I'm just citing those results. What we see is there is hardly any impact in terms of the damage. Somewhat, there is somewhat, but it's hardly anything. It's insignificant. There is a fuel efficiency loss which has been reported, which is between 2 to 4 to 6%. Is what
We've got higher figures in real world, but
yeah, I'm just going by the study, right? So in that way, to do this in 2021, and then move forward to 23, where everybody was asked to shift to ensure material compatibility, and that gave the industry time enough to test, homologate, and get certification for emissions of E20 by 2025.
they had reference fuel at that time to do
So yeah, so what I mean is, what I'm trying to point out is, it's been pretty well thought out from a point of view of making sure that it doesn't create any disruption. But if you ask me, in terms of the pricing element, it's something that is best addressed by the oil marketing companies. But what I understand is it's also a function of the relative pricing of the two fuels. Incidentally, right now, crude is trading at perhaps the lowest points it's been for a number of years. That also creates a situation where the oil marketing companies are saying that ethanol is slightly more expensive than crude is, or petrol is. But it's a transient situation, I would say.
that. Right.
Because, for crude to go from 60, 65 to 100 plus, or something in between.
Yeah, can happen quite fast. Actually.
Yes, it's very volatile.
Yeah.
So that's another point. Just to conclude, you see, by shifting to fuels which are indigenous, you're also trying to insulate the consumer from possible shocks in the future.
Right.
So I think it has to be seen in that perspective.
Right. And lastly, Gulati-san, going forward, let's say in terms of, Toyota's plans, clearly you've taken a multi-path approach. You've got all powertrains right now. So can one assume, EVs, hybrids, all petrol-based powertrains are there, and perhaps the future long-term for diesel, not as much as that. So can we just assume that's a direction that the company is going towards?
So we are very open to all technologies. As mentioned by you, we have the entire portfolio of technologies, whether it's electric or hydrogen, or plug-in hybrids or biofuel vehicles. We feel that the choice of technology for a particular market should not only be meeting the consumer requirement of affordability, accessibility, and convenience, but also meeting the national objectives in a best possible way. For a country like India, we have to see what is the energy mix in terms of the energy that is getting delivered to the consumer. We have to see the infrastructure availability. We also have to see in terms of consumer acceptance from a point of view of price points. Hence, and of course, the consumer needs arise from that point. So we're open, we're okay, we have all the technologies, we are committed to a future that's going to be carbon neutral by 2050, our own target on a life cycle perspective. So therefore, we believe going forward, given the diversity that exists amongst nations as well as within India, there's immense amount of diversity. There is going to be need for multiple green technologies to really address the issue of shift towards sustainability in a manner of speed and scale that is needed.
Great, Gulati-san. Thanks so much.
Thanks.